Ah, Sir de Sardet. Did you get my message?
Indeed. The arrival of the de Vespe family in Tier Fredy is surprising and no doubt worrying. But without knowing their intentions...
Nothing good can come from that family, for the interests of the d'Orsay family and Serene. But I truly cannot tell you anything about the reason for their presence. The message I received was brief. Aurelia de Vespe announced her arrival on the island and asked to see your cousin as soon as possible. She and her entourage seem to have settled in a region that I do not know. Adag ol Credo, north of Vikshadir. I think it would be good for you to locate her and try to find out more.
I know this place, but I thought that only the Doneigada from the Baragnodas clan knew how to access it. It's a sacred place. That's where Animide shed his blood.
You should also take advantage and visit these unknown lands. Who knows what they have in store for us?
You're right. It's better for us to go and see what it's all about. Goodbye, Lady Mirange.
Goodbye, Your Excellency. Be careful. Don't underestimate the trickery of the de Vespes.
poison on my blade. And let's go! Let's see if you can walk on this
Legate de Sade, I presume.
Indeed. Delighted to meet you, Your Grace.
The accounts I've been given of you and your companions don't do you justice. Truly, it is a pleasure. We're going to become wonderful friends, you and I'm sure of it. Say, aren't we going to be cousins soon?
Pardon me, Your Grace, but I'm not sure I follow. And if I may ask, what is it precisely that brings you to this remote island?
Haven't you heard? Well, it seems the messengers on this island are not particularly reliable. No matter. Your uncle and my father have decided that your cousin, Prince Constantine, and I are to be married. So, here I am.
My. This is incredible news.
I know you must be surprised. However, this alliance will be a wonderful way to put an end to the enmity between us, don't you think?
Indeed. But I should warn you that the current situation is complicated. My cousin seems to have got it into his head that he'll conquer the island and...
Oh? What audacity! But I'm sure our allies won't look very favorably on this situation. Still, I have to admit that such ambition only piques my interest in my new fiancé. I don't think it jeopardizes our arrangements. Not for the moment, at least. Then, you and I will be cousins, of course. Furthermore, I was hoping I might be able to count on your assistance.
Of course, Your Grace. What can I do for you?
You see, I didn't want to impose myself on New Serene until all the necessary arrangements had been made for my arrival. I had the Nauts drop us off in a quiet place outside the city. Too far outside the city, clearly. There were these savages and bandits skulking around the woods and threatening us. They even robbed me. Worst of all, they took the chest in which I was keeping the marriage contract.
Savages? The only savages I know are the ones who invaded our home.
Oh, please forgive me. I meant no disrespect. Natives, then, is it? In any case, it's absolutely mortifying to have to ask you this, but you know the island and its inhabitants better than I do. Could you perhaps retrieve the chest for me? I would be eternally grateful, cousin.
Can you tell me more about the theft?
Of course. We were unloading our things from those horrid little boats that the Nauts get about in when it was taken. I was busy setting up camp at the time, so I didn't see who it was. My men didn't see much either, because it was dark. But certain natives from the region stopped by in the morning. They were aggressive and insisted that we leave. I'm sure they were behind the robbery, unless it was just bandits. There were a couple that my men chased away, but that's all I know.
Thank you. We'll get about finding it.
Is there anything else?
I won't deny that I'm surprised to hear about your engagement to my cousin, despite the excellent reason you put forth.
Surely you didn't think your cousin would stay single forever. Know that although the decision was not my own, I'm very pleased about it. I got the impression your uncle thought a wedding might calm your cousin a little. And now that he's in the role of governor, he needs a wife of his standing. My father saw an opportunity to get me away from Peren, where I was in great danger, and found me a worthy husband in the process. But again, it's clear that their main intention was to put an end to years of conflict. Is there anything else?
I must be going, Your Grace.
But of course. Goodbye, dear cousin.
This whole wedding business seems quite questionable. I'm not familiar with the customs of the congregation's great families. But this...
I can't believe it either. There is too much rancor between our families.
Could the contract she spoke of be forged? Is it even possible? I'm not familiar with the practice.
A document can be forged, especially by them. This much is clear. If we find it, it'll need close scrutiny. If I've understood correctly, the chest was here when it was stolen. Ah, there are footprints which lead away from the camp. There are other footprints here. They're quite deep, as if the person who made them were carrying a heavy load. We're on the right path. The undergrowth has been crushed. Several people pass through here. Footprints seem less hurried. The thieves must have felt safer here. We must be getting close.
don't see many around here. But I'm convinced they don't eat their prey where they catch it. They would normally take it back to their lair.
Maybe they were about to do just that when we got here. Let's look around. We'll soon find out. And let's not forget Aurelia's chest. That's curious. On closer inspection, these men were obviously not killed by animals. The stab wounds are clearly visible. This campfire is strange. The ashes and embers are laid out as they should be, but the ground beneath them is untouched. This campfire has not been used. It seems as though it was just laid out as a prop. Something is wrong. The stab wounds on these outlaws and the fake campfire make me think that this whole scene has been staged. We'd best go back to the camp and return the chest. The de Vespe coat of arms. This must be the chest Aurelia asked us to find.
Is there any way to open it? We could examine this contract of hers.
I can't see a lock, and we'd be hard-pressed to explain why we broke it. We'd better bring it back untouched.
Wait. Look, there seem to be soldiers over there. We should observe them before jumping into their arms.
It seems they're Aurelia de Vespe's swordsmen. I'm afraid it is now beyond doubt. These men were sent to ambush us. Aurelia sent us to recover that chest solely in order to get rid of us.
We should teach those assassins and their mistress a lesson. But since we spotted them, if you'd rather avoid trouble...
Name Natter. That horrible woman sent us to recover her chest in order to get rid of us. She hoped these killers would be the end of us. She deserves Enon mir Frichteman's wrath. May he engulf her in lava. What do you intend to do?
She'll have to answer for this. But, given the power of her family, we must remain polite.
You? I didn't think I'd see you again. So soon.
Is that because you'd hoped we'd be clawed to death by those beasts, or because you thought your assassins would get the better of us?
Come now, who do you take me for? I was just putting your courage to the test, that's all. A princess's whim. I kindly suggest you forget all about this little incident. You see, my dear, we de Vespes have a habit of knowing as much about our enemies as our friends. I'm afraid my father's men have obtained some rather sensitive information, which, well, if the other governors were to find out, it could very well jeopardize your position, along with that of the d'Orsay. If word were to get out about your origin, for example...
Are you trying to blackmail me?
Oh, what a horrid word! Come now, I would never do such a thing. Let's just say that I'm ensuring your loyalty. In fact, some of my men are already at the courts of Hikmet and San Mateus, and ready to act if you try anything. But I'm sure it won't come to that. We'll soon be part of the same family, after all.
Why do you feel the need to resort to blackmail? You have your contract. Why threaten me?
My sweet summer child. You seem to have learnt to navigate the seas of politics in a duck pond. My waters, however, were shark-infested. Knowing the weaknesses of others, as well as how and when to exploit them to ensure unwavering loyalty, is key to survival as a de Vespe. I believe I mentioned that my late husband was murdered at court. Well, his killers worked for my brother. My own brother didn't think twice before having the man I loved killed to secure his position. He broke my heart. I understand, of course. I'd probably do the same. And what of it? Do you think I would feel more remorse were it, say, a cousin-in-law? Is there anything else?
What are your intentions? Surely you're not going to all this trouble just to marry my cousin.
And why not? Your cousin's quite the catch, you know. But you're quite right. I want more than just a new husband. I want a place where I can showcase my talents, a place to shine. Who knows? As the governor's wife, I could even become the new legate and try my hand at diplomacy. Unless I decide to keep you, of course. That is, if you promise to serve me well and aid me in expanding our influence on this island and beyond. The de Vespes have long worked in the shadows of the congregation. No more. I hope that answers your question. Is there anything else?
Here is your chest. This is the one you sent me to fetch.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you for your help. You have shown yourself to be as reliable as they say. Long may it continue to be the case. Well, now that I've recovered my precious documents, you'll be able to deliver the wedding contract to your cousin in New Serene. I await the preparations for my arrival and accommodation. Then there'll be plenty of time to prepare the ceremony with my husband-to-be.
The arrival of a noble lady such as yourself will require several arrangements. New Serene is a very new city.
Yes, I'm sure. Don't dither for too long now. I'm counting on you to be as quick as possible. And to convince your cousin and his men to be reasonable. You know what's at stake. Is there anything else?
I must be going, Your Grace.
But of course. Goodbye, dear cousin.